drama, and what a great game yesterday. First of all, there was the upset of Cuba over Guatemala, thus securing Cuba spot in the quarterfinals, and El Salvador is eliminated as well as Guatemala, and then the big whopper, in a way, best game of the tournament so far. I would even say best international game so far, and probably will be the game of the tournament. The 4-4 draw between Mexico and Trinidad and Tobago, Mexico being 2 goals up. Trinidad turned it all around, and Mexico turns it around in the 87th and the 91st. Seemingly have won the game and the group, and then Trinidad snatches a late equalizer to make it 4-4, setting up the final bracket. And before I go to the bracket, I have to apologize since I got the bracket wrong. Reason being is I took the bracket from the Copa America, which I thought was also going over to the Gold Cup, and I got initial confirmation on Wikipedia, which tells you Wikipedia is not always right. So the bracket is now corrected. Actually, it didn't change much because Mexico is playing now Costa Rica. The only thing that really changed is that Trinidad and Jamaica were switched around, which both have about the same strength. So overall, the bracket didn't change much. But I still got it wrong. And I still think the bracket is horrible, as was already the Copa America bracket. And let me show you why. We have here the first team, A1 and A2, being in one part of this bracket. So we have a potential meetup in the semifinals between two teams that already met in Group A. And same is true for Group C, with Trinidad and Mexico still can meet also in the semifinals. A better way to set it up, and probably the only good way to set up this bracket, if you have 12 teams, which is always an iffy thing to have, same thing as with 24 teams, which we will have at the Euros. Whenever you have third place teams that need to be ranked, never perfect system. Anyway, I guess the only way would be to have A1 being kind of a seeded team, play against a third place team, and then pick whether you want to have the team from Group C or Group B. I think Group B would be more natural. The CONCACAF decided that Group C, probably because there's Mexico, should play against the third place team. But then don't have B and A here, have B and C here. So we have a team from Group A, potentially playing a team from Group C, but that is up for grabs. But then you have here B and C here, and same thing goes here. You have the winner of Group C, and then there should be A and B. So basically, if you flip-flop Haiti with Costa Rica, the bracket would make a whole lot more sense than before. Anyway, that's just my polemics here. We have the bracket set as it is, and we have the US against Cuba. What a matchup that would be, at least on a political point of view. Then we have Jamaica against Haiti, two neighboring islands as far as I know, as Haiti one of the two surprise teams, Cuba being the other one. And you can already guess that this field for the US is wide open. I mean, they are expected to roll over Cuba and also Jamaica, although having had a formidable tournament. But they should not be too big of an opposition for the US team. The lower part of bracket is a lot more loaded, with 3 of the 4 strongest teams outside of the US being there, plus Trinidad, which also had a really great tournament. So we have Trinidad against Panama. That could be a lot closer than those numbers suggest. And we have Mexico against Costa Rica, which we already had previously, but now we changed the bracket around. It's still Mexico versus Costa Rica here, which is probably the big game of this quarterfinal, which sets up the US against Jamaica, as we said, and Mexico against Panama, and then everything runs pretty much the same as before. We're still scheduled to have a USA-Mexico final, which we would also have if Mexico would have won the group. So not much change there. It was really, does Mexico or Trinidad play rather Panama or Costa Rica? Other than that, the bigger change was between Jamaica and Costa Rica. If Costa Rica would have won against Jamaica early in the tournament, Costa Rica could have avoided Mexico. But still, pans out really nicely overall. Now, all those probabilities that I have here are still based on the ratings before this last day of games. I will try to update those with the ELO rating, and probably there will be some tighter probabilities. I expect Mexico to drop, I expect the US to drop slightly, I expect Jamaica to increase, and especially Trinidad to increase their ratings, also Cuba and Haiti, should be a little bit higher. So that might make for an interesting change here. Let's look at the overall probabilities. I think it comes as no surprise that the US, with having a much easier route to the final now, being an overwhelming favorite, while Mexico being favored over Costa Rica and then Panama has those three have a much tougher route. Jamaica's chances, of course, increased, as did Trinidad's, but only Trinidad's actually same. Haiti's increased, and we have Cuba here with 4 teams being eliminated. Well, that's it for today. I'm going to talk more about the tournament a little bit tomorrow if I can get the updated ratings on time. Otherwise, I'll try to get some more jerseys, especially I'm interested in Haiti and Cuba, which I haven't been able to get any nice pictures. Yes, I have the game footage, but I really want to have here only nice pictures. But if I get those, I will cover some jerseys. Other than that, I will be back with a short preview of the quarterfinals with updated ratings. Well, that's it for today. Bye bye. See you later.